Alrighty, friends, I am going to begin our practice today by inviting the chime to sing. We're going to set the intention for our practice, and then I'm going to introduce our topic. I'm actually going to do that now just to give you all a heads up. Excuse me. On Wednesdays, we have a practice that's like a Zen day on Wednesdays. And this was inspired by one of our Sangha members, Christopher. And so we've been reading from this book called Standing at the Edge by Roshi Joan Halifax. And she is the abbess and a Zen master at Upaya Institute in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And we've slowly been reading her book. And for the month of July, we have been exploring the theme of the four limitless qualities in Buddhism: loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. And in this book, we are finishing up the last chapter, and it is all about the edge state of compassion. Roshi Joan talks about edge states as an aspect and an experience of our lives where we come to the edge of an experience. And when we get to that edge, we either go over it, and the consequence of going over the edge of an engagement, of an experience, usually is some kind of distress. Or we don't get close enough to the edge and we don't challenge ourselves to grow. We don't test our mettle. So the goal of an edge state is to stay at the edge of it, neither going over it or getting too far away from it, staying close to it so that we're always in maybe a little bit of tension. Just recognizing that in this balanced state, there's going to be good things and negative things pulling at us at all times. The whole goal of an edge state is to neither go in one direction too much or the other. However, if we do go over the edge or under the edge, it is still fertile ground to explore, to grow, to be inquisitive, and stay curious and open. So, with that, let's begin. Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I am one of the facilitators of the Spokane Sangha. It is my privilege to practice with you today. I'd like to set the intention for our beautiful time together to share with you a sentiment of metta, loving kindness. And it comes in the form of these cards, these little hand-painted cards that I make, because I really want to be a painter and an artist, but this is the best I can do. And on the back, I write these sentiments of loving kindness. This one reads, "May you have wonderful rest. May you have wonderful rest." And in that spirit, friends, I invite you to allow your body a posture of rest and relaxation. Meditation comes in many forms, and sometimes meditation can be experienced lying down. If your body wants to lie down, please do. Allow your body to be fully supported and gently received by your bed, your couch, the floor, a mat on the earth. If, however, you'd like to take a different posture, a more traditional posture that is seated, whether you're in a chair or on a cushion, I would simply invite you to take notice of your overall posture, Try, if you can, to keep the front of your body soft, belly soft. No clenching, no holding your breath, soft. While at the same time, keeping your back strong, nice and straight. No need for rigidity, and the way to relax it all is roll your shoulders slowly up to your ears and roll them back a few times. Allow your chest to open, allow your heart to open. Allow your collarbones to widen, and then eventually allow your hands to find a restful, relaxed posture on your legs or beside the body. Palms facing up is a posture of reception. Palms facing down is a posture of grounding. Allow your body to know precisely what it needs. And then give yourself a few moments to breathe. It helps when we're beginning to meditate to bring our awareness and our consciousness to the breath and to intentionally inhale slowly. Take a moment at the top of the inhalation to pause. Hold the breath intentionally for just a moment. And then slowly, with a wise concentration, exhale, release the breath. And at the bottom of the exhalation, when you've released all the air, pause a moment. A precious moment to reflect. Inhale slowly. Pause. Exhale slowly. Pause. Let's do this together as a collective community for a few times, and then allow the body its natural and organic rhythm of breathing. Friends, as we've been exploring the Brahma Viharas, the 4 limitless qualities this month, it has been deeply humbling to hear reflected in the Sangha the number of people who struggle to offer themselves compassion and loving kindness. It is my belief that perhaps our aspirations of offering self-compassion and loving kindness are too high. And when we lower our expectations, or rather make our aspirations more realistic, we can begin to examine, perhaps even receive, that an act of loving kindness to come to a Recovery Dharma meeting is also an act of compassion for self. The simple awareness of breathing is an extraordinary act of loving kindness and compassion toward ourselves. The physiological effects are so positive to our overall well-being. It can only be an act of loving kindness. So these two things alone are extraordinary. And the fact that we've all done them together in community is just a moment of wow. And keep going. Simple, small things that we do all the time may be actual acts of loving kindness and compassion toward ourselves. And when you can see them clearly, may you experience joy. And when you have a little joy, may you also step over the threshold into the realm of freedom or equanimity. The chapter today from Roshi's book is entitled Survival of the Kindest. And I'm just going to read for us a very short section. Roshi writes, speaking at a conference I attended in Dharamsala, India, His Holiness the Dalai Lama said, compassion is not religious business. It is human business. It is not luxury. It is essential for human survival. I truly subscribe to His Holiness's words that compassion is a necessity for human survival, and I want to take his words one step further. I am convinced that compassion supports the survival of all species on our planet. His Holiness later wrote, however capable and skillful an individual may be, left alone, he or she will not survive. However vigorous and independent one may feel during the most prosperous periods of life, when one is sick or very young or very old, one must depend on the support of others. I believe that at every level of society, familial, tribal, national, and international, the key to a happier and more successful world is the growth of compassion. The English naturalist Charles Darwin would agree. Darwin wrote in The Descent of Man about the importance of sympathy, what today we would call compassion, exploring the tendency of humans and animals to help those in distress. He shared a story of a zookeeper who was attacked by an aggressive baboon. Charles Darwin wrote, several years ago, a keeper at the zoological gardens showed me some deep and scarcely healed wounds on the nape of his own neck, inflicted on him whilst kneeling on the floor by a fierce baboon. The little American monkey, who was a warm friend of this keeper, lived in the same compartment and was dreadfully afraid of the great baboon. Nevertheless, as soon as he saw his friend in peril, he rushed to the rescue, and by screams and bites so distracted the baboon that the man was able to escape. Darwin recognized that such heroics are more likely when the rescuer and rescuee are part of the same in-group. That little monkey was good friends with the zookeeper, and so was probably motivated to risk his life to save the zookeeper from death at the hands of the baboon. Darwin wrote, It is evident in the first place that with mankind, the instinctive impulses have different degrees of strength. A savage will risk his own life to save that of a member of the same community, but will be wholly indifferent about a stranger. A young and timid mother, urged by the maternal instinct, will, without a moment's hesitation, run the greatest danger for her own infant, but not for a mere fellow creature. Darwin also recognized that extraordinary circumstances will inspire some people and beings to great compassion toward strangers. Nevertheless, he writes, many a civilized man who never before risked his life for another, but full of courage and sympathy, has disregarded the instinct of self-preservation and plunged at once into a torrent to save a drowning man, though a stranger. In this case, man is impelled by the same instinctive motive which made the heroic little American monkey, formerly described, saved by his keeper by attacking the great and dreadful baboon. Darwin could have called this phenomenon survival of the kindest. It's a theory that runs contrary to the cutthroat survival of the fittest paradigm commonly attributed to him. Darwin concluded that the idea of compassion is not only essential for survival, it also forms the foundation of our sense of personal morality and the ethical systems that inform social well-being. Dutch ethologist and primatologist Frans de Waal has suggested that the roots of compassion can be found deep in our evolutionary history. De Waal has documented numerous acts of kindness and moral behavior among non-humans, including apes, dogs, birds, and even mice. We can ask, if mice do it, then why not us? For the next few moments, friends, the invitation here today is to reflect on the spectrum of heroics surrounding compassion. It is an act of heroism to jump into a raging river and save someone else's life. Indeed. I dare say it is also a heroic act to engage the wisdom of compassion, to heal the propensity and the tendency of harsh self-loathing. The Buddha taught very clearly to heal ourselves is to heal the world. It is true then, what His Holiness said. Compassion is human business. May we practice and cultivate our deepest humanity. With that, friends, let's end this beautiful practice with a dedication of merit. I'd like to invite everybody, if you're comfortable, bring your hands to heart center. Hands, fingers together, kind of like this, thumbs sticking out a little bit. So thumbs pointing directly into the heart. What a wise collective soul Sangha possesses. This Sangha and all the Sanghas around the world. Thank you for being a Sangha that has the capacity to hold with such reverence and openness, wisdom, vulnerability, inquiry. Thank you for being a Sangha that provides a sense of welcome and security. Thank you for being a Sangha that is impeccably encouraging, kind, understanding. May you take your next steps into your day heart-led, heart-full, heart-open, heart-wise. Thank you so much for your practice, friends. We'll see you next time. Namaste.